The decision is to come back again for potentially a minimum of 2 days, maybe 3-day hearing to go through the material. Unfortunately, we put through 2 applications. One was abuse of process, which does have a high threshold, but the other one was estoppel, which is basically rejecting the fact that the GMC are submitting the same exact material that was used in the hearing 4 weeks ago and ruled as legitimate with no order out of that after that hearing. So the MPTS today, by rejecting our application for estoppel, are putting their own decisions in jeopardy. They're saying that the decision in that hearing can be debated when we come back again, which they haven't really explained how, and it's quite shocking, to be honest. The MPTS did the right thing last time and knew that it was outside of the GMCs and their remit to impinge on my Article 10, freedom of speech and expression. What they've done today is choose the wrong side. But what's more alarming is that not only have they chosen the wrong side, they've impacted themselves so negatively in the process. They've undermined their own panel and decisions. What that then does going forwards is sets a really dangerous precedent. We have a regulator, medical regulator, that is being influenced by the Israeli Jewish lobby outright in front of the entire world. And now we have the panel that are meant to be independent and rule on the investigations by that medical regulator are saying that their decisions can be debated. That means that any doctor coming out of this building getting a no order or not being suspended cannot feel safe, because they can be brought back and tried again for the exact same material. To do that for the genocidal settler colony of Israel is a disrespect to Britain, to our judicial system, to our independence and sovereignty, and to, most importantly, to the British public and patients. This is not what this is for. This process is meant to make sure that we're safe, that British patients have doctors who are safe for them, not British doctors who might offend a genocidal settler colony that's murdered tens of thousands, if not more, of children. So this is shocking. It's really, really shocking. The GMC, their reason for bringing me back here was that my tone has increased. I've taken the quote-unquote anti-Semitic tone has increased, and they also use the word flavour. And the GMC actually used the word unrepentant to describe bringing me back here. However, obviously there was no order last time, so there was nothing for me to repent for or say anything different for. The MPTS have not made any sort of decision, or have not clarified. There is still no clarification why I'm being put before the hearing for the same material. They have not actually even explained how the material being put forward is any different to last time. They are refusing to provide that explanation, because the reason they're doing this is not because of my posts in the 12 days after the hearing. It is to overturn the last hearing. They are perversing our medical regulators and our rulings to overturn that hearing, which in itself is a complete abuse of the rule of law. We asked the GMC several times before the hearing to explain, give any pointers as to what could explain their reasoning for increased tone or flavour. They refused. We asked today, nothing was given, and nothing is given in the outcome either. So, because I truly believe they can't. They cannot show us how anything that they've presented is any different to last time, or cannot be explained by my statement and our submission last time. They just want to overturn it, and that should worry everybody. I think the government and pretty much every British institution has put me in actual, real, serious danger. Forgetting the reputational damages, they have smeared me to the point that they've put my life in potential danger, and I've had to call the police. MPs making comments on an independent ruling, threatening to pass legislation to overturn independent processes. The media being so aggressive, coordinating with the police, trying to have me arrested to overturn this, all for Israel. If anything, I don't know, I just feel like if I wasn't a doctor and this was happening to a doctor in my society, I would be very shocked. A doctor who hasn't harmed anybody, who's not made an error, is being dragged through this, having to call the police to protect her from death and rape threats, and having been vindicated every single time I've had to explain my position. I've not been found guilty because I'm not. Yet I'm being punished in every way that the British entity can punish me for Israel. Obviously, we have not gotten to the point yet where we're discussing the arrest in there and objecting to its addition, because it's a non-reportable incident, by the way. However, the police felt the need to voluntarily send the paperwork to the GMC 2 days before my hearing. When I was arrested for taking action with Palestine Action on the 15th of May this year, before they were prescribed, I checked that if I needed to report it to the GMC. And I came to the conclusion that I didn't, but I called the GMC just to double check. And the GMC said, yeah, you don't need to report it. Go away, basically. Call us if you're convicted or charged. So how would they then, yesterday, feel that it is absolutely necessary, the police, to voluntarily send it to the GMC if they weren't coordinating? It's a non-reportable incident.
But was it mentioned at the hearing today?
It was alluded to, but we haven't discussed it because it shouldn't be. The GMC will try to add it because they're trying to win the same arguments. Remember, and I won those arguments. So what they're trying to do is use the British state and any tools to try and validate the arguments that they lost, and that's what the arrest is there to do. But obviously, we will object to it. It's not even related. The grounds that I was arrested on, which are completely wrong and baseless, they're not even related to this. So we will object to it. But I think we'll probably have to be a bit more aggressive this time. That we can't come back here again and do this again on something that was already ruled upon. It's a disrespect to everybody, really.
Lastly, I saw reports that you were silenced today, that you weren't allowed to address the panel. Is that true? And if so, what was the reason for that?
Yeah, so the GMC told the panel that they explicitly did not want me to ask any questions. So 4 weeks ago, I asked one question of the panel in the GMC, and it was to disclose any conflict of interest. So for them to say that this time, it just puts a spotlight on them, doesn't it? It makes you now then think, okay, what conflict of interest do you have to hide? So when I was reading the question out that I said out loud last time to the chair, he intervened and said that I'm not allowed to speak. And I said, I do have a right to speak. And he said, no, because I have counsel. Now, mind you, last time I spoke at four different times in my hearing. So there was a serious silencing. And I believe the GMC are saying that they don't want me to speak at all once this does go ahead. So they're trying to silence me on social media, but they're actively trying to silence me in person. They just don't want me to speak. And that's why, for example, mainstream media won't have me on. They don't want us to talk because their smears and all the lies that they say can never hold up when you speak to us. Because when you have a moral and just and truthful position rooted in humanity, rooted in goodness, it cannot be beat. They cannot beat that. They can only try to stop us from talking. And we won't stop. They can take my medical license, they can take my livelihood. I don't know. I mean, maybe I'll be homeless. I don't know. Maybe I have to sofa surf on a few of my friends' sofas. But we're not going to back down on our morals, because if you're asking a doctor to back down on morals, you're creating a dangerous society, and I don't want that for my fellow British people.